welcome to our budget hearing. And tonight we're going to present the 16-17 budget, and we're also going to present some good news that I'm going to confirm with everyone today. So let's get started. So our 16-17 proposed budget. Hello.
We have to open the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I have a motion to open the meeting, please?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we do a pledge or no?
No.
No?
Yeah, workshop? It's up to you. Is it a
Okay,
workshop? It's a workshop. It's a budget workshop. It's not a meeting.
Okay, go ahead, Jennifer.
Okay, sorry. I can't really see you from the side. But anyway, the board adopted our 16-17 proposed budget on April 19th, and the budget totals $38,773,989. Our budget-to-budget increase is 3.25%. Our property tax legal limit was 3.2% this year, and we are going out with a tax levy under that limit at 2.98%. So our projected tax levy for 16-17 is $35,065,000, while our limit was almost $75,000 higher than that. So the budget is below the tax cap, and it maintains all of our excellent educational programs. So this is the good news. The good news is that New York State instituted another property tax rebate. And what this shows is a little timeline of when the property tax cap went into effect and all of the incentives that New York State has been giving so that schools stay within the cap. So the property tax cap was instituted, the first year was 2012-13, and there was no rebate or no tax freeze that year. 13-14, there was also no tax freeze that year. Going into 14-15, there was a tax freeze. The incentive was if districts stayed within the cap for the 14-15 budget, that taxpayers who were STAR eligible would receive a check to fully reimburse their increase in the tax bill. And for 15-16, not only did districts have to stay within the cap, but they also had to submit an approved efficiency plan. And taxpayers also received a check that year. So now for the next 4 years, there has been a change to the law. And it actually, I'm referring to New York State Tax Law 606, and it basically is incentivizing school districts to stay within the cap for the next 4 years. And if districts decide to stay within the cap, the first year, district residents who actually own their property for 2 years made adjusted gross income of $275,000 or less, they're actually going to receive a check for $130, which is really wonderful since it would actually offset any of the tax increase that we were projecting for the town of Southampton and the town of East Hampton. We were projecting a tax increase of about $146 to $148 for the year, and this $130 would really offset that for all of those taxpayers who meet those requirements.
Pardon me,
For
is this 130 for every, no matter how much your property's assessed?
It's a flat rate.
Flat rate.
It's a flat rate for the first year. Now, for year 2, 3, and 4, we're hoping that we are going to be able to stay within the cap those years, but we can't predict, things change over time. But if we do stay within the cap for 17, 18, 18, 19, and 19, 20, you can see that the amount that's rebated back to the taxpayer is a percentage of their basic STAR or enhanced STAR rebate. And you can, for each year going forward, that percentage increases drastically. It goes from 5.5% to 28% the first year, 7.5% to 60% the second year, and 10% to 85% the last year. So the State Comptroller's Office just gave a webinar on May 3rd, and they confirmed all of the rules associated with the tax rebate, and they also showed all of the schools and school district officials all of the paperwork that has to get done in order for us to get that rebate and certify that we stayed under the cap. So I just included a lot of the information here on the next few slides because this is the first time that we are mentioning it to our taxpayers, and this is also something that we'll probably put online. And, of course, answer any questions if anyone does have any questions. But the percentage for the future years of the rebate really does depend on your gross income, and it does depend on how much star rebate you actually get on. And you could look at your property tax bill and see. For the 2016-17 school year, the maximum star savings, which is calculated by New York State, is $298 basic for Town of East Hampton and $623 enhanced for Town of East Hampton, and then similar amounts, a little bit less for Town of Southampton. So those percentages would go against those star savings for each of the future years. For those taxpayers eligible for enhanced star, in the first year for 16-17, they will get 12% of that $623 if they actually, if they do receive that maximum amount. And what I did was I just included a lot of the sections of the law. It defines what qualified gross income would be. It defines exactly how many years you need to be a resident. And it goes into some detailed information about the credit itself, and that how only one credit per resident shall be allowed per taxable year. But this is really great news for our taxpayers, especially those who are on fixed incomes. This is our budget newsletter. We've been working on the budget newsletter for quite a while now, and this is going out in the mail, so district residents should see this in their mailbox probably by the end of the week. It will go through in detail all of our budgeted expenditures for 16-17, and you will see all of our proposed budgeted revenues also. There is also an article here, and you'll see an article about saving taxpayer money and what the district has done to try and gain as much, just find additional revenue, also find any additional cost savings that we can in every area of operations. And there's also going to be a nice one-page article in the newsletter giving the taxpayers a lot of information about the Stella Maris, the proposed purchase of the Stella Maris facility. That newsletter is online. I also do have the budget statement online, the budget notice online, the property tax report card online, and this presentation is also online. So everything now is out there in the public. It is available to the public. So in addition to saving taxpayers money $1 at a time, and trying to find additional revenues in every area, including our tuition contracts that we have with 2 of our surrounding districts and our transportation contract that we just signed off on for next year, which is bringing in additional revenue. We really wanted to focus on transparency and improving transparency every year. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you that online you can see for a 16-17 school budget year, we have a wealth of information. There is so much information online that I challenge anyone in this room to tell me any Long Island school district that actually, or for in the state for that matter, that has more budget information online. So, these are just some of the things that we've been working on in the past. When you go online, because we really do, Katie and I really do feel that transparency is just such an important part of the budget process. But, back in 13-14, when you look at all the budget information and you look at your line-by-line budget, you can see that you have a 6-page line-by-line budget here. So every year since then, if you click on, you can see there's just more and more information presented online. And every year, we're just improving the process. And now if you go on to 16-17, and you see the same line-by-line budget, it's not 6 pages with just totals. You're going to actually see a 33-page document, which includes every single budget code that we have and every single line item expense that we're planning on making for the year. Because remember, the budget is just a plan. So it's really important for us to make sure that the voters do understand how we spend their money and what we are spending the taxpayers' money on. Going forward, I have to say a lot of these items in these notes, they do not change year to year. A lot of the salary items in some of the budget codes will change, and you'll see these are actual salaries, and there is an actual name associated to every single one of the salaries in these codes. But as we move forward and we keep providing more and more detail I think we will get to that point where the taxpayers may be comfortable with knowing what is spent out of every code, and then maybe going back to more of a summarized version of what we've been providing. Bless you. So yes, if anyone has any questions about the budget and anything that's presented online, they could call my office at any time. But I want to get back to some of the items that have been added. So you're going to see the budget statement is online now, and the budget statement is 99 pages. It goes in, it shows you in detail what the three-part budget is, and it's formatted for the specific area, the administrative area, the program area, and the capital area. The property tax report card is online. The school academic report cards are all there. You'll see the district's fiscal accountability summary, the administrative compensation disclosure notice that we report to New York State every year, and also the exemption report for both the town of Southampton and the town of East Hampton. So that's also available in the local library, and this report is also available in any building if anyone would like to request to see it, if they don't have access to anything online. So the 2016-17 propositions on the ballot include the budget vote, and the second proposition includes the proposed purchase of the former Stella Maris School bond proposition, the school building. And the total amount that we have, that we're asking the voters to approve for those bonds is $10,233,500. We went through many workshops and discussed the opportunity of purchasing this building and providing really a wealth of different types of services and different types of programming, and everyone agreed that option one, the option where we would be providing daycare and also a pre-kindergarten program and having our own middle school wing, our true middle school wing here, was really the best option for us. So all of that information also can be found online, and there is some information included in our budget newsletter. So we're projecting right now our school tax increase for the town of Southampton for next year to be $147.70. That's for the year. And of course, that would be offset by the $130 rebate now for those taxpayers who would actually be able to apply for that. If assessed values do continue to increase, we may see the trend that we've been seeing in the past, where our rate per 1,000 of assessed value is actually declining. So for 13-14, the rate per 1,000 was $5.24. For 14-15, our rate went down to $5.21. And for the current year, instead of our rates going up, our rate went down again by $5 to $5.07. So we've been seeing a decline in the rate each year because assessed values have been increasing. There's been no change to the equalization rates in the town of Southampton. But for next year, if we assume that the assessed values stay the same and the equalization rates also stay the same, then we're projecting an increase, if there is an increase, of $147, $148 per year, and a percent change in the rate of about 2.91%. For the town of East Hampton, which is a little more complicated, we are projected next year for a house assessed at $1 million at a 0.64% equalization rate, that school taxes would go up in that community by $146.15 per year. And that is based on a home valued at $1 million. And that is also assuming that assessed values and the equalization rates do not change moving forward. Because last year there was a real significant decrease in the equalization rate, which actually brought the full market value of everyone's home up, and it did result in a very large tax increase. But Town of East Hampton taxpayers will also be eligible for that $130 rebate now. This is our historical assessed values. They have been climbing. We're hoping they continue to climb. Early information from the town of Southampton is showing that they're going to be going up again, so you may see that rate decrease again. Also, historic budget vote results. This is the district has stayed under the cap for the previous 4 years now, and last year we had a very good passing rate for our budget last year, and our tax levy increase last year was 2.49%. So we're hoping that we do get a lot of voters coming out and exercising their right to vote, because every vote counts. So, but we also have to talk about what if the budget fails. So, if on May 17th, if the proposed budget passes, the district will enact the budget effective July 1st, 2016. But if the proposed budget is defeated, the district may do one of the following. They can resubmit the defeated budget on June 21st, which is the statewide budget revote day. They could submit a revised budget on June 21st, or they can adopt a contingent budget immediately, which will be enacted on July 1st, 2016. But a contingent budget, I will show you in the next few slides, would mean reductions of over $1 million in expenditures for equipment, capital projects, and various administrative and instructional costs. Facility usage by the public will also be limited in accordance with the law. And if the resubmitted or revised budget is defeated on June 21st, the Board of Ed must adopt a contingent budget at that point. So under the property tax levy cap legislation, when the district adopts a contingent budget, the tax levy limit cannot be increased for any reason, and it's set at 0%. There are no exclusions allowed under the contingent budget laws. So you'll see what our budget looks like if we did have to adopt a contingent budget. Our tax levy for 15-16, you'll see in the bottom of the screen in blue, was $34,050,000. That's the current year. So we would have to move forward for next year to have the same tax levy, $34,050,000, and that would bring our contingent budget down to $37,758,989, which is not a significant. It doesn't leave a lot of room for increases district-wide, budget to budget. So the administrative cap, which limits the allowable increase in the administrative component of the budget, is also still in effect. So the administrative component of a contingent budget must not exceed the lesser of the percent the administrative component comprised in the prior year's budget, or the percent the administrative component comprised in the last defeated budget. So if you look, this is what those calculations look like. And you can see that for our current budget, our administrative cap percentage would be 9.6%. Last year, our administrative cap was 9.35%. So what that means is last year's cap was lower, so this year's contingent budget would have to be lower than that 9.35%. So we would have to reduce our administrative component significantly to get down to that 9.33% that I calculated. May 17th is the annual budget vote and election. It will be held here at the Pearson High School Gymnasium between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. Please, everyone, come out and exercise your right to vote. Every vote counts. And I'd like to just say a big thank you to all the administrators, staff, and trustees who worked so hard on this year's budget. And please, if anyone has any questions, contact me, and contact me before the budget vote, not afterwards. So I went through that pretty quickly.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Excellent.
We like quick.
Excellent job.
Excellent. I just want to thank all the administrators for your hard work on this. We really appreciate it. You did an amazing job. Thank you.
And I'll add also the whole business office, because I know that there's a lot of hands in the kitchen
want your little gamble?
to pull all this together. And it's very impressive to see that plethora of information that's now on our site. I think it was mentioned a few meetings ago that every district in New York State is being audited by a central organization, government organization in New York State. And when they came to our district, they were very surprised at just how much information we put online, and they said we were just about the most transparent district they'd ever seen. I mean, they were really very surprised, and we should be very proud, and the community can rest at ease that they know how every dollar is being spent.
Thank you. And that was definitely a priority. So.
Okay. Is there any public input too? There's nobody in there.
There's nobody.
It's been a bad day.
Oh, I know.
Okay. All right, then can I have a motion to convene to executive session, please? To
Discuss the personnel issue.
to discuss a personnel issue.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We are into that.